12, Miralon, formerly known as Cool Spring.
This is a cluster subdivision to divide 72.2 acres plus or minus into 144 single-family lots to be located on a certain parcel of land lying and being in Indian River and Lewis and Rehoboth 100, Sussex County. The property is located on the northeast side of Cool Spring Road, which is Sussex County Route 290, approximately 1.1 miles south of Fisher Road, which is Sussex County Route 262. The tax parcel ID is District 234, Map 5, Parcel 37, and the zoning district is AR1, Agricultural Residential District. Submitted into the record, Mr. Chairman, we have a copy of the applicant's subdivision plan, a copy of the applicant's exhibit booklet, including the Chapter 99(9)C response, a copy of the staff review letter, a copy of TAC comments that have been received, including Departments of Agriculture, DENREC, Sussex County Engineering Department, Utility Planning Division, and the Division of Public Health. We also have a copy of the PLUS review and PLUS comments, and we have a letter received from the Mapping and Addressing Department. I would note that we've received 3 letters in opposition, and we've also received petitions with a total of 16 signatures in opposition and 0 letters in support. And, Mr. Chairman, I can confirm that as of today, we have received a letter from DELDOT, which I will circulate copies of as it arrived this afternoon. So, thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. My name is Mackenzie Peete. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Beardman Dallas Brockstead. I'm here this evening on behalf of the applicant with Jason Palkowitz, PE of Solutions, Integrated Planning, Engineering, and Management, LLC. The applicant has submitted an extensive booklet for your consideration that has been before you for at least 10 days. I will provide a brief overview of the project, discuss the project's compliance with the AR1 cluster development requirements, the 99-C requirements, and the plan's consistency and conformity with the comprehensive development plan. The applicant proposes Miralon, a cluster lot subdivision, to divide 72.2 acres, more or less, into 119 single-family lots. The notice reflected, the public notice reflected as advertised, suggested that there was 144 lots. The rest of the information of public record confirms that there are actually 119 lots, just to be clear. A portion of acreage is to be devoted to lots, a portion is to be devoted to streets, and 36.4 acres, more or less, a total of 50% of the parcel, will be devoted to interconnected open space. The proposed cluster development is superior in design to a standard subdivision, as the project proposes significant amounts of open space, landscape buffers to protect and avoid development in environmentally suitable and environmentally sensitive areas on site, and a stormwater management system that will act as an amenity and natural companion to the natural features on site. This plan provides for amenities including a pool and bathhouse, in addition to a trail connecting to sidewalks to be located on one side of the street, connect with the DELDOT multimodal path. The project is located on the northeast side of Cool Spring Road, approximately 1.1 miles south of Fisher Road, approximately 1 mile north of Stockley Road, adjacent to the community of Springtown Farms, and in the vicinity of Ridings at Rehoboth, Ocean Meadows, Cool Spring Farms, and Spring Haven on a parcel of land identified as tax map parcel number 234-5-37. The property is located in a low-density area with adjacent properties in all directions, also designated as the same. The adjacent properties to the west of the site are agricultural land preservation easements. Properties to the east of the site are located off of Forest Road, are zoned GR General Residential and an existing development area. The property is currently a vacant use, and if granted by you today or at some point in the near future, there will be 119 homes with an actual density of 1.65 homes per acre, as permitted by Sussex County Code, which permits 2 dwelling units per acre. As previously stated, this is in a low-density area and within investment level 4. The concept plan for Miralon was presented to PLUS on December 16, 2020, and a response letter was subsequently provided to PLUS, which addressed their comments point by point. This project also went through the TAC process. The parcel is located in AR1, Agricultural Residential, and meets all minimum lot area and bulk requirements. Notably, for this particular project, the project actually proposes lots that are an average of 10,500 square feet rather than the standard 7,500 square feet lot that we see commonly in cluster developments, and that's to accommodate a larger home type. The project complies with Chapter 115-25E of the AR1 District Design Requirements for Cluster Development for the reasons stated in the project reference material prepared by Solutions. I know you've had an opportunity to review that, and I will not repeat each item. The project complies with Chapter 115-25F for a cluster development as well. The proposed lots and amenities are located within environmentally suitable areas on the site. Clearing of any existing wooded area is limited to the amount required to develop the project. The open space provided meets the official definition of acceptable open space that requires 30% or 21.66 acres. This project actually is proposing 36.4 acres more or less, and the code further requires that of that 30% acreage, 6.5 acres is required to be for this particular project on one contiguous tract, and this project proposes 33 acres more or less. A 30-feet forested buffer is also provided. Stormwater will be handled on site and will meet the current state of Delaware regulations. Tree removal will be limited to what is necessary to construct the project. The project preserves scenic views, limiting back-to-back lots, and provides gaps between lots as well. The land plan preserves natural facilities and proposes sidewalks and connections to DelDOT's multimodal path as previously stated, and open space adjacent to natural areas has been prioritized. As required, sidewalks are provided on at least one side of the road. The proposed development also complies with the 99-9C requirements of the code. Specifically, the plan integrates the proposed subdivision into existing terrain and surrounding landscape. As shown on the plan, the applicant proposes significant open space totaling 50% of the entire site, provided a minimum 30-feet buffer around the perimeter of the site, and all proposed lots within the community are a minimum of 50 feet from the outbounds of the property. Additionally, as evidenced by the GTA soil report, the applicant has located stormwater management facilities based on extensive borings and a soil report. There are no wetlands located on the site. There are no known sites that require historic preservations on the site. The plan preserves large tracts of open space and preserves scenic views as previously mentioned. There will be a minimization of tree, vegetation, and soil removal and grade changes. Disturbance on site will be limited to the areas required for homes, roads, stormwater management, and utility installation. Screening of objectionable features from neighboring properties and roadways will be provided by the proposed 30-feet landscape buffer around the perimeter of the existing site, existing forested areas, stormwater management facilities where those facilities exist, and by the fact that the proposed lots within the community will be 50 feet from the outbounds of the property. Water will be provided by Artesian as evidenced in the will serve letter. Miralon is also anticipated to be served by Artesian and is located in a County Tier 3, Sussex County Tier 3 CPCN area. Arrangements will be made with a commercial trash hauler to provide trash collection for Miralon. All runoff will be directed via the closed road section and storm drain network into a stormwater management system consisting of best management practices. The proposed development is planned in a way to minimize erosion and sedimentation, changes in groundwater levels, increased rates of runoff, potential for flooding, and design of drainage, so that groundwater recharge is maximized. The plan accounts for safe vehicular and pedestrian movement within the site and to adjacent ways. The entrance to the community will be designed per current DelDOT standards, and all roadways will be designed in accordance with Sussex County standards. It's anticipated that the proposed community will cause current property values to remain the same or increase. The proposed subdivision will not adversely affect adjacent farmland, considering the landscape buffers provided, as well as the existing wooded areas that provide a natural buffer and separation of the proposed community from surrounding properties. The community is not expected to have an adverse effect on schools, public buildings, and community facilities, as evidenced in the plus comments specifically. The site access is located off Cool Spring Road, and the applicant has discussed roadway improvements with DelDOT, specifically regarding frontage on Cool Spring Road and entrance improvements. The project is compatible with other land uses in that it is adjacent to and in the vicinity of a number of other similar residential communities, and is therefore compatible in design, density, home style, and land use. And finally, as previously mentioned, there will be an efficient stormwater management system that acts as an amenity, and runoff will be treated for water quality and quantity prior to discharge. With that, I'll conclude my presentation. We do have the engineer here if you have any technical questions, and I'm also happy to answer any additional questions you may have right now.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll see if anyone on the commission has any questions for you, and we'll start with Natalie Stevenson.
I have a couple. You said it twice, and I just want to make sure I got it right. You said that the lots are a minimum of 50 feet from from the edge of the property, correct? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Just wanted to make sure. What is the tell me, it's in there and I don't have it written down. The actual road frontage is how long? How?
I can let Jason speak to that specifically, but it's been discussed that specifically the entrance area on Cool Spring Road and frontage area in that vicinity of the entrance, that's where frontage improvements have been discussed with all that. I can have the engineer speak further to that if you would like, though.
Okay. Well, I can ask all my questions,
And
and
then
then
we
we
can
can
switch.
decide
I
if,
think
you know,
that
he
sounds-
needs to come up for all of them.
I think that sounds like a good plan.
Okay, so we can save on some of it. I want to know how it was calculated that Miralon's not going to affect the schools, the public buildings, and the community. How do you determine that, come up with that it will have no effect, based on the fact that we got 1,000 more kids in our school this year
Sure.
than we did last year?
It's based off the plus comment specifically, that was what I was specifically referencing. I'm sure there may be some impacts, but no substantial impact. That was my point.
Okay.
And with a lot of these communities, as you know too, they are
Is it going to be deed restricted?
retirees more. No,
Yeah.
but more based towards retirees that don't have kids, et cetera.
Yeah,
You
you
never
can't-
know.
you cannot
But
say that
you're-
anymore
you're
at
right,
all.
But based off the plus comment specifically, as I stated.
But that's has proven not true. Thank you, COVID. Anyway.
Understood. Yes.
And then my next question is, what does relatively adjacent mean when discussing other residential communities? That was a question that was brought up. Because the communities you discussed were on Beaver Dam Road. Another one was a manufactured housing community. Another one had half-acre and three-quarter-acre lots. So I was just curious, how did you figure relatively adjacent, and how did you figure that these are actually
Jamie, could you pull up the
compatible to this?
do it as well, but I would like to see the aerial map on the county website, and then if we could get the subdivision layer as well, that would be helpful. So to towards specifically the east of this site and located off Forest Road, I had mentioned that the areas over here are all located in GR. And then in the vicinity of the site specifically, you'll see that there are ridings of Rehoboth, and you're right, that they're in the vicinity. And I'm having trouble locating. Jason, could you assist me with this? Specifically ridings at Rehoboth.
Ridings is over this way.
Is over the other way.
Right, and it's right next to Ocean Meadows, which is the other one that they're both on Beaver Dam Road.
Correct. And so how may I answer your question? We use the subdivision layer to determine that they're in the vicinity of the site.
Okay. I was just curious what you'd consider the vicinity, because you didn't put Woodbridge in, which was right down the road, which is 122 acres with 188, or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, Woodbridge is 121 acres, 188 lots, and Poplar Grove, which is 102 acres with 24 lots. So, just why, how you chose the ones you chose to point out in this is my
It was
question.
just a sampling of nearby subdivisions in the vicinity of the site.
Okay, and was a forest assessment conducted?
I think there was a note on that in the plus comment specifically. There was a letter from the Department of Agriculture
Asking for one.
asking for one. And to my knowledge, one has not been completed at this point, but again, I'll have Jason speak to that point as well. Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're up.
Good evening, Jason Palkowitz with Solutions IPM here in Georgetown. First question was the roadway frontage. The actual frontage is 400 feet, but that is the area that is actually fronting the road.
Right.
Okay, but what where we're going to improve is the entire extended frontage. So where the call them strip lots were subdivided off, we're responsible for that as well, for Delta improvements.
So you would take for their property to expand the road there?
We would be improving the road. I don't know that we will be taking their property or not at this point.
There may be enough right away.
Because we're not putting turn lanes there. It's going to be shoulders and travel lanes. No turn lanes in front of their properties.
And they can't take it if the property owner doesn't give it to them.
Correct.
So
Well,
the state can.
the state can.
But trust me, they don't have time for that.
I've never had them do that. They don't want to.
Takes 3 years.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's it then.
Okay, all right, thank you.
No questions.
Nothing, okay.
Oh, I have nothing, thank you. Worst assessment, I'm sorry, I forgot.
Think of something?
Are you going to do a forest assessment that was requested? Sorry about that, after you wiped it all down.
That's fine. I do not, one has not been completed.
Yeah. And will there be one completed, since they're considering mature trees there that are worthwhile?
I do not believe one is anticipated to be completed at this time.
Okay, thank you.
And regarding the subdivisions that were chosen as if you bring back up Mr. Whitehouse, the tax map, we looked primarily at the ones that had the recorded, even though there were subdivisions in blue, we looked at primarily the ones that had lots on them already, was kind of the determining factor. If the subdivision wasn't built or wasn't finalized yet, we did not really look at those.
How far out do you usually go when you're looking for relatively adjacent? I'm just curious if there is a,
There isn't. It's if you see that like the subdivisions to the right, there are a couple parcels over. That's relatively close. You would know it's there if you live there. And I'm not looking 5 or 10 miles away. If that's what the question is.
no, yeah, I didn't know if there was just a regular assessment that you did based on, we look out in a half a mile and say, oh, there in that circle, there is. No, there isn't. And how, so for the schools and the community and all that, is there a calculation you make based on how many houses should be there and who you think's moving to the area, or do you just rely on questions from Plus?
Well, the questions from Plus, but to your point, COVID has changed everything. So I would imagine there will be more full-time residents here than in the past.
Okay. All right.
Jason, while you're up there, I wasn't going to call you up for this, but just past that development, or the proposed development on the left, there's another lane that goes back in, that also refers to itself as Cool Springs Private Development. Is that the same owner?
I do not know, but we're not calling ourselves Cool Spring because obviously they've been used. It was just a placeholder,
Yeah, that's fine.
so I do not know who that owner is.
Okay, no problem. That's the only question I had.
Okay. Now, this one be-
I have none, thank you.
No questions, sir.
None for me, thank you.
Okay, sir?
For me, thanks.
Okay. All right, so let's see. Is there anyone here who would like to speak